You ever notice how your stomach drops the second you see your boss's name pop up on your phone? Or how you rehearse simple conversations in your head 100 times before actually having them? That's not normal. That's not something everyone does. That's what happens when you work for someone who's systematically destroying your sense of reality. See, most people trust their own memory. You've learned to question yours. Most people leave work at work. You carry it like a weight on your chest every single day. And now, you're walking around doubting yourself constantly, wondering if you're too sensitive, too emotional, too much. I'm about to show you 5 signs your boss is gaslighting you right now. Signs that feel like personal failures, but are actually psychological warfare. And I promise you, by the end of this, you're going to understand what's really happening to you. Let's jump in. Sign 1, the memory manipulator. Okay, so imagine this. Monday morning, your boss gives you clear instructions. Do the project this way. You even write it down because you've learned to protect yourself. You spend the whole week executing exactly what they asked for. Friday comes, you present your work, and they look at you like you've lost your mind. Why did you do it this way? I never said that. You pull up your notes. They shake their heads slowly, almost with concern. You must have misunderstood me. Here's what happens in that moment. Your brain splits in two. One half knows the conversation happened. The other half is drowning in their certainty. And you stand there thinking, am I going crazy? No, you're not. This is what I call the memory manipulator trait. And here's the thing most people don't understand. When someone in power denies reality, your brain doesn't just disagree. It starts to question everything, because you need this job, because they control your paycheck, because fighting them feels dangerous. So instead of trusting yourself, you start trusting them. And that's exactly what they want. The good part? Once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it. You'll notice when they're rewriting history. You'll catch them contradicting themselves. You'll realize you're not forgetful. You're being manipulated. The hard part? Your brain has been doing this so long, it's automatic now. You question yourself before they even speak. You apologize before they accuse you. You doubt your own memory like it's your job. But here's the truth. The fact that you're questioning yourself doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you've been trained to doubt your own mind. And that training didn't come from nowhere. It came from someone who needed you to be uncertain so they could stay in control. That's not your weakness. That's their weapon. Here's what you do. Document everything. After every conversation, send an email, just to confirm our discussion. Today, you asked me to proceed with X. Create a paper trail they can't deny. Watch what happens. Real leaders will appreciate the clarity. Gaslighters will get uncomfortable because you just took away their favorite tool, deniability. Sign 2, the public executioner. Here's a question. Who are you in private meetings versus team meetings? If you're different in both, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Thursday afternoon, your boss calls you into their office. Great work on this. Really impressive. You feel it. That hit of validation you've been desperate for. That moment where you think maybe, just maybe, you're doing okay. You hold on to that feeling. Then Monday's team meeting happens. Your boss presents your project and starts tearing it apart in front of everyone. There are some significant issues here. This approach isn't quite right. We're going to need to rework this completely. Your colleagues shift uncomfortably. You feel your face burning, and you're sitting there thinking, but you said it was great. You became really, really good at accepting contradictions. Not because you're weak, but because being confused was safer than being confrontational. You learned to smile when they praised you. You learned to stay quiet when they humiliated you. You switched faces like changing clothes. After a while, you got so good at it, even you forgot which version of you was real. Here's the upside. You can handle anything. Public criticism doesn't break you anymore. You've developed emotional armor that most people will never need. That's not nothing. That's survival skills. But here's the painful part. Sometimes you look in the mirror and feel empty, like you're performing your own life instead of living it. Like you've been so busy managing your boss's moods that you forgot to have your own. And listen, I need you to hear this. The real you, the one who's angry about this, the one who knows this isn't. Okay, that person is right. You spent months, maybe years, being told that your reaction to their behavior was the problem. That was a lie. The truth is you're not too sensitive. You're responding normally to abnormal behavior. Here's your rule. If someone can't say the same thing about you in public that they say in private, they don't respect you. Period. Call it out. Last week you told me this was excellent work. What changed? Force them to explain the contradiction. They'll either admit they were playing games or gaslight you harder. Either way, you'll know you need to get out. Sign 3. The reality distorter. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you trusted your own perception without second-guessing it? Can't remember? Yeah, that's this sign. Your boss tells you can leave early Friday for an appointment. Clear permission. You remember the conversation. You remember where you were standing. You remember what they were wearing. Friday comes. You pack up to leave. Your boss appears. Where are you going? You explain about the appointment, the approval. They look genuinely confused. I never said that. Why would I approve that on our busiest day? Now you're scrambling. Did that conversation happen? Your brain starts searching, doubting, questioning, and then they say it. You've been really forgetful lately. Are you okay? These words are poison. They make you wonder if you're losing your mind. They make you think you're the problem. They make you so small you almost disappear. But here's what's really happening. You don't just work hard. You work like your sanity depends on proving you're competent. Because growing up, because at this job, failure wasn't just disappointing. It became dangerous. Mistakes weren't just mistakes. They were evidence you were broken. So you learned to push, to prove, to perfect everything. You became the person who double checks, triple checks, never trusts their first instinct. And sure, people might say, wow, you're so thorough. But the truth, you're not doing it because you want to. You're doing it because you're terrified of giving them ammunition. Here's the upside. You will catch errors others miss. When things get complicated, you don't panic. You've been doubting yourself so long, you've learned to verify everything. That attention to detail isn't weakness, that's protection. But here's the cost. You don't trust yourself. You don't relax. You don't make a single decision without running it past yourself 50 times first. And deep down, you're exhausted from constantly questioning your own mind. Listen to me. That exhaustion is real. Your feelings about this are valid. You're not making this up. You're not overreacting. You're not too sensitive. You're being deliberately confused by someone who benefits from your uncertainty. Here's what you do. Trust yourself first. When you remember a conversation, you remember it. When you know something happened, it happened. Stop asking permission from reality. You already know the truth. Sign 4. The isolation artist. Here's the one people don't talk about enough. And honestly, it might be the loneliest one to carry. You used to be included in meetings. Now you're not. You used to collaborate with your team. Now you work alone. You used to feel like part of something. Now you feel like an outsider in your own workplace. And when you ask why, your boss acts surprised. Oh, I thought you knew about that meeting. We didn't want to overwhelm you. You're better working independently. But here's what's really happening behind the scenes. Your boss is having concerned conversations about you. They've been struggling. I'm worried about their performance. Maybe we should reduce their responsibilities. None of it's true, but it's being said in rooms you're not invited to. By the time you hear about it, your reputation is ash. Think about it. When you were connected, you had witnesses. You had people who could confirm what was said. You had colleagues who saw you weren't incompetent. So your boss separated you, not because you failed, because you had protection, and now you don't. Here's what you need to know. Your isolation is not natural. It's engineered. It's strategic. It's designed to make you easier to control. When you're alone, you can't reality check. When you're excluded, you can't compare notes. When you're isolated, you're vulnerable. That's not paranoia. That's pattern recognition. The good part? You can spot this now. You can see when you're being cut off. You can recognize the strategy. The hard part? Fighting isolation requires the very connections they've destroyed. Here's what you do. Build relationships with colleagues anyway, not through your boss, directly. Coffee chats, lunch invitations, casual conversations. Create your own network, because when your boss tries to destroy your reputation, you'll need people who actually know you. Sign 5, the boundary assassin. Here's the big one, the most dangerous sign of all. You set a boundary. Simple, reasonable, clear. I can't check emails after 8 p.m. I need advance notice for schedule changes. Please don't yell at me in meetings. Basic rules to protect your mental health. And here's what happens. Your boss crosses it anyway. They email you at 10 p.m. demanding immediate responses. They change your schedule with no warning. They raise their voice. Maybe they apologize. Sorry, I forgot. It was urgent. I wasn't yelling, I was passionate. But then they do it again, and again, and again, until you stop setting boundaries altogether. Because what's the point? This is what I call the boundary assassin. And it's the most dangerous because it doesn't just violate your rules. It trains you to accept violation as normal. Most people learn that boundaries are healthy. You learned that boundaries make things worse. Most people can say no. You learned that no has consequences. And now you're an adult who doesn't know how to protect yourself without feeling guilty. Someone demands your time. Instead of refusing, you wonder if maybe you're being selfish. Someone crosses a line. Instead of enforcing consequences, you make excuses for them. Something feels wrong. Instead of trusting that feeling, you question if you're overreacting. You don't trust boundaries because boundaries were never respected. The upside? You can handle almost anything. You're flexible, adaptable, you don't make demands. But the downside? You're so disconnected from your own needs that sometimes you feel like a ghost. Like you're just going through motions. Like you exist to serve everyone else's agenda. Here's what you need to know. Your boundaries are not requests, they're requirements. You don't need permission to protect yourself. You don't need to earn the right to say no. You don't need to justify walking away from people who hurt you. A boundary without a consequence is just a hope. Here's your rule. One warning. That's it. You set a boundary. They cross it. You say clearly, I told you this isn't acceptable. If it happens again, I'm documenting this for HR. They do it again, you follow through. Every single time. No exceptions. Because the moment you don't enforce your boundary, they learn they can ignore all of them. The truth. Nobody wants to say now. Here's the big truth. These signs can destroy you or wake you up. It all depends on what you do next. You didn't choose this. You didn't cause this. You're not broken. You're someone experiencing psychological manipulation from someone in power. And that's not the same as being weak. That's being human. But now that you see it, now that you know what's happening, you get to decide. You can keep accepting it, keep questioning yourself, keep hoping it gets better. Or you can take control, document everything, build your exit strategy, trust yourself first. You're not too sensitive. You're finally seeing clearly. You're not overreacting. You're responding appropriately to inappropriate behavior. You're not crazy. You're being manipulated by someone who's very good at it. That's not your fault. But staying is your choice. So, the next time your boss makes you feel like you're imagining things, remember this. The day you stop asking if you're overreacting is the day you get your power back. You already know the truth. You've always known. Now go show the world what happens when someone who survives psychological warfare decides to actually protect themselves. If this helped you, subscribe to this channel. You're not alone in this, and you're stronger than you think.